Today I'm going to be kicking off a reading vlog, reading 3 Christmas mysteries. In this video, I'm going to be reading 2 books that are connected to ongoing mystery series and 1 book that is just an independent little novella. Those books include Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret by Benjamin Stevenson, which is connected to the Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone series. And then The Christmas Appeal by Janice Hallett is connected to The Appeal, which is another book by her. Both of these books can be read independently and don't require being involved in reading the series, but they are a little bit enhanced if you have the connections to the series. And then I'm also going to be reading The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson. All of these are really short little books that you can squeeze in before the holiday season if you would like. But if you're shorter on time or you just want to be more selective, you can check out my experience reading all of them and see which one I think is the most worth reading this Christmas season. First up, Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret. I got 52 pages into this book. I stopped it right in the middle of a chapter because I was reading last night and I read until I got fully exhausted and could not stay up any longer. So only the first 50 pages, and then I expect that I'm gonna fly through the rest because this is very short. It is only 170-ish pages and I'm really liking it. This book is following in order of where we've left off in the series. So it's after the second book. It's not like a prequel or in between or anything. It's like a 2.5, I guess. Maybe they're calling it a 3. I'm not sure. You could just pick this up and just read it and just follow it along if you wanted to, like you wouldn't be lost, but there are things about the character dynamics and relationships that happen in the first 2 books that, you know, are just like already starting in here. So you would want to start from the beginning if you want to read everything in chronological order, but if you just wanted to get a taste of what this writing style is like, then you can follow this along and you'll know what's going on in the mysteries. I won't spoil anything about the first 2 books though, in case you don't want those spoilers. I'll just talk about this independently. In this one, your main character is the same main character throughout the series, Ernest Cunningham, and he is a writer who finds himself in these situations where dead bodies end up around him, and then he gets to figuring out what happened. In this story, there is a precarious situation where someone close to him ends up looking like they may be a murderer. And so Ernest gets called to come in and help clear their name and potentially solve who actually killed this other person and if this person's being framed. I found the setup to this one really surprising in terms of who the story's focusing on and who's involved in it, so I don't want to give that away. I think that was a fun little surprise. And so far there's just so many fun little elements about this story. I feel like Benjamin Stevenson just somehow is able to keep pulling all of these like classic little things into his stories. I'm like, I feel like you would have run out by things by now with all the things you've done, and then somehow he has not. There's always like a list of who all the suspects are, and in this one it is set around this magician, and all the suspects are professional tricksters. So there's the magician, the assistant, the executive, the hypnotist, the identical twin, the counselor, and the stagehand. And it's just so funny and humorous the way it is so self-aware and referencing like classic tropes in murder mysteries and like, oh my gosh, don't you just hate it when there's identical twins? And then 20 pages later it's like, oh yeah, see, there's an identical twin, but at least I'm not hiding it from you. That's not the twist, but there is going to be an identical twin, and it's just so delightful. I will say this one does not feel very Christmassy because it is set in Australia, so it's quite warm, and it acknowledges that portion of it too, that it's not super Christmassy. So I wonder if it's going to lean into more Christmas vibes. So far there's just been like Christmas gifts, and it's playing with Christmas things in the actual structure of the story. So there's kind of like a little advent calendar, I guess, and the chapters end with those little pieces, and then parts of it, like the next chapters, always start looking like a present labeled out to whoever's going to be the focus of the chapter. So that's fun, but really liking it so far. We'll see if it leans into more Christmassy-ness and I think I'm gonna have a really fun time with it. I was going to try to have a nice little angle here with my Christmas tree in the background, but my 75-pound dog decided that he wanted to sit like a cat on the top of the couch, which he does frequently, and he's kind of blocking the view, so don't mind him. The Christmas tree is still back there looking beautiful. But I did finish, everyone. This Christmas has a secret, and I really liked it. I really don't have any complaints about it as a mystery, especially as a mystery novella, and I think I'm gonna give it a 5-star because I had a really good time with it. This author's writing style in this series in general, and especially this novella, really remind me of the show Psych, which I just loved so much growing up. I used to watch that show all the time. I owned every single season on DVD. There's a very similar humorous tone to these books as there is to that show. It's just something that I really like, and I find them to be very enjoyable time. This did not ever really feel Christmassy though. I feel like you could definitely read this at any time in the year and it wouldn't feel too removed. Like, you don't really have to be in a Christmassy mood to enjoy this. You could read this in the middle of June and it would be just fine. The main character, the narrator, is breaking the fourth wall often throughout this and is often talking about this as a holiday special and the rules of a holiday special and the rules of a holiday special mystery. Certain things like there can't be anything too significant moving the plot forward that's an overarching plot through the series, and that was true. Like, this is just sort of a tangential little story. You get a couple little cameos of people from the broader story, but mostly this is just following this little one-off adventure he goes on solving this little murder. And I really like the explanation of the murder too. It was very complex, very twisty, lots of little nuances to it. And this honestly may be my favorite so far in the series. I really like the first one. The second one, the one on the train, I didn't like as much, but this one I really loved. I'm giving it a 5-star. I might have given the first one a 5-star. It was either a 4, 4.5, or a 5. But yeah, I really like it. I'm excited for the series to actually continue back to, you know, the normal novels and see what ends up happening next. I haven't seen an announcement about the next book in that series and what it'll be about, but I have an inkling as to what it maybe could be about. And there's always a guaranteed fun time. So yeah, really great. But again, not the most Christmassy, which is fine. Now I'm gonna jump into the next one and we'll see if that one is more of a Christmas vibe. I've started the Christmas Appeal and I'm 42 pages into this. This is quite a short little thing, around a little under 200 pages, and this book is so tiny. Here is it compared to a normal paperback. For example, the Christmas Appeal is a follow-up to The Appeal by Janice Hallett, which I read several months ago, and I really enjoyed this. It follows this group of people who are in this community theater program together and unsolving a mystery that goes on through mixed media. So the Christmas Appeal is following that same theater group after the events of The Appeal, and it has not explicitly mentioned what happened in The Appeal yet. I don't know if it's going to or not, but it's very clearly connected, and I do feel like you probably wouldn't want to read this without having read The Appeal. I don't know if it's really going to stand on its own. At least it's how I feel so far. My opinion might change as I continue through the story, but this is following this group of people in a community theater. I'm not going to spoil the first book, The Appeal. And they are putting together a play of Jack and the Beanstalk. And there's gonna end up being a dead body on stage. Everyone's a suspect, and through mixed media, they're trying to solve, or you're trying to solve, what happened again. The tagline reads, "One Christmas play, one dead Santa, everyone's a suspect." And it looks very Christmassy. It has a very cute Christmassy cover. However, it's not very Christmassy yet. I'm like, where are the Christmas vibes? Jack and the Beanstalk? That's gonna be our Christmas play? I don't even know how there's gonna be a dead Santa, because there's not Santa in the Jack and the Beanstalk play, so we'll see how that comes in. But I want more Christmas vibes. I don't know if this is gonna give me that either. I'm liking it so far, but I have had to refresh myself on The Appeal a little bit because there are characters who continue from that series, and I had to remember, like, wait, what actually happened in The Appeal? Who was the bad person? And who's still coming off of the story and what's gone on after this? It's not overly important, but I wanted to remember for my own sake. So far, feels a little slow to be 42 pages in. It's only 200 pages. This is so tiny, but we'll see. We'll see. Janice Hallett usually does not disappoint me. Good morrow. Does that mean good morning? I don't know. Good morning. I finished The Christmas Appeal last night. This was not very Christmassy. This was not very Christmassy at all. Maybe there's something I don't know about the Jack and the Beanstalk play. It was actually a pantomime, which I've never even heard of as a type of play, but it was a pantomime. Maybe there's something I don't know about that, but this did not feel like a Christmas book to me at all. This just felt like a mystery follow-up to The Appeal. The only other Christmassy thing about it is that the dead body is found wearing a Santa suit, but that doesn't really matter that much to the story. And so that was really disappointing because now we're 2 for 2 of books that were sold as these Christmas mysteries that just don't feel very Christmassy. I can't really remember if I've read a Christmas mystery before, and so maybe I'm just like not getting it. Like maybe a Christmas mystery is simply a small mystery that you can sit down and read by the fireplace on Christmas Day, and that's what a Christmas mystery is more so than actually feeling like the energy of Christmas. I've read Christmas romance books before, and Christmas romance books, they're singing carols, they're kissing under mistletoe, they are going ice skating in the park, they are doing their holiday gift shopping and wrapping together. There's just, you know, Christmas energy to it, and these just have not had that. I did still like the mystery in this one though. I thought the book in general was okay. I'm giving it a 3-star. I didn't love it, especially not as much as I enjoyed The Appeal. This was very, very slow paced. It took even to about halfway through this short little novella to even understand what the mystery was going to be in the story. So the first experience, the first half of this reading experience is kind of like the mystery to you, the reader, is wondering what the mystery will be in a way, I guess, but I don't know. I just didn't love it. It was really, really slow, and then the ending explanation and everything wasn't overly surprising or anything kind of crazy or complex. It was just, you know, a simple little mystery, a little addendum to add if you enjoyed The Appeal or if you enjoy the mixed media style mysteries that Janice Hallett does. It was okay. It just wasn't very Christmassy. Lastly, I decided to pick up The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson, and I read this all in one go. This one was very short. I think it took around 90 minutes to read the whole thing, and this one was available on Kindle Unlimited, so I actually just read it all on my phone on the Kindle app. So if you have Kindle Unlimited and you're looking for a quick little Christmas mystery, I would recommend this one. Thought it was good. I'm giving this one a 3.5-star rating. I actually think I have read this book before, or at least started this book before. I can't remember, and maybe one of you can. Maybe I've talked about in a video before, either last year or the year before. There was a Christmas that I picked this up, and I'm pretty sure I DNF'd it before I even got to the second half of the story. When I was reading it, it felt familiar, but I couldn't remember what was going to happen. So I still had a surprising experience. I don't think I've ever finished this book before. I think this is my first time reading it, but I liked it. And this one had more of a gothic feel to it. This one, I would say, probably felt the most Christmassy out of everything I've read in this video. The story follows these 2 young women who are in college together. One of them is an American art student named Ashley, who is currently over in London, I think they are in. And her classmate Emma, who is from somewhere near the area, invites the American student Ashley to come spend Christmas with her at her family's country manor house. So that setup in general really gives you this Christmas feel. Like, it does feel as if you are following these 2 students on a little week off the holidays at university in this little country manor, like this nice place on this estate, and the weather's cold, and they're sitting by the fireplace drinking Baileys, and they're having a roast dinner, and things are just moving slow in life because you're off for school for the holidays, and they're going and they're drinking in bars with their friends. It does just give like back home for the holidays energy to it in a way. So I appreciated that after feeling like I was severely lacking the Christmassy vibes. And like I said, this is a gothic story, so the American student goes with her to spend Christmas, and eerie things lurk, dark things come out. The first half is kind of like this slow gothic build that really feels reminiscent of The Secret History or the movie Saltburn, and I really just like that atmosphere. It's mostly told as well through the diary entries of the American student, which gives it this layer of additional eeriness because you're only getting that diary POV instead of really being able to observe the characters and form your own opinions, you're only getting this one very narrow look at what's happening. And it gives you the sense that something bad happened, because why are we reflecting on these diary entries? And then the second part of the story takes this turn and there's some surprises that come. I was surprised with the direction that it took and what went on from there. And then it really just does kind of feel like this classic read it by the fireplace, going back through the mirage of everything that happened. Like someone's just telling you this story of things that have happened and the way the mystery is unfolding. It had a very cozy feel to it. So I really enjoyed that as well. I still think it could have been more Christmassy. I just feel like these books aren't actually talking about Christmas that much, but this one did have the most of a Christmassy feel to it. And overall, I had a fun time with it. I think, you know, it's pretty simple, pretty short. It's not doing a ton here. I didn't love it. It wasn't the most shocking thing, but it just had a really nice little play out. It was a quick little thing to read all in one sitting. So 3.5 stars. So that puts a wrap on reading a couple of Christmas mysteries. I will say the one I enjoyed the most was Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret by Benjamin Stevenson. And if you were just looking to jump into this series and you don't care about minor spoilers about connections between the characters, you could definitely pick this up and try it in a very small size little bite form and see if you like this writing style to know if you want to jump into the series. If you're already reading the series, definitely pick it up. It was a fun little holiday special, super solid mystery that was really fun to follow, and gave it a 5-star. Not the most Christmassy because of its setting in Australia. However, I do now, looking back at this after reading all three, appreciate how it did try to bring some Christmas energy into it with the whole format of the advent calendar and the Christmas gifts and the Secret Santa. Like, it was trying to be Christmassy, so I will give it some props for that. If you want to know where you should probably save time and what's maybe not worth picking up at Christmas, but you still want to read it, but you need to know, like, maybe I'll read it a different time of year, I would say you can read The Christmas Appeal any time of year. This is going to be fine to read in the middle of the summer. This is going to be fine to read in the fall. It is really not very Christmassy at all, despite its very Christmassy cover. So if you're trying to squeeze in, you know, what you really want to squeeze in right before the holidays, this is the one I'd say you're good to read this any time of year. But if you're going to read The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson, I do think you should read this all in one day, potentially sitting by the fire. If it's snowing outside, even better. Have like a cup of coffee or a hot cocoa in hand. Be under a blanket. If you've got pets, have them snuggling up next to you. That's going to be the best experience with that one in particular, just because it does feel kind of cozy like that. So that is it for me. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books and what you think about them, or let me know if there are any other Christmas mysteries out there that you would recommend for myself or other people in the comments. But that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.